I'm 108 years old. I came to this country with just $40 in my pocket in 1928. And for 8 decades, I've watched people make the same foolish mistakes with money. Today, I'm going to tell you about 10 things you need to buy before you turn 60. And I don't mean what you think. I'm not talking about luxury vacations or dream cars. I'm talking about the things that can either protect your retirement or quietly destroy it. Let me tell you about Samuel Carter, a good man. He lived 3 houses down from me in Brooklyn for over 40 years. Samuel retired in 1989 with $420,000. Back then, that was serious money. Do you know what Samuel did? He never bought the things I'm about to share with you. Instead, he kept paying for things he didn't need. He kept saying yes when he should have said no, and he kept postponing the hard decisions. 14 years later, Samuel was sitting in his kitchen telling me he was worried about money. Imagine that. $420,000, and he still died worried. Do you know why? Because he never bought himself peace of mind. He never bought himself boundaries. He never bought himself the word no. I was a shoemaker. I repaired shoes for 62 years in the same little shop on Fifth Avenue. My shop burned down in 1978. I had 0 insurance payout because I couldn't afford the premiums. So I rebuilt everything from nothing. I put 2 children through college on a cobbler's income, and I retired comfortably. Not rich, comfortable. Do you know the difference between me and Samuel? I learned what to buy and what to stop paying for. Number 1, buy yourself a smaller place to live. Do it before your body makes the decision for you. I'm talking about selling that big house while you still have the power to choose on your own terms. Let me tell you about Victor Romano. Victor had a beautiful home in Staten Island, 4 bedrooms, a finished basement, and a large yard. His wife Elena died in that house. After she passed away, Victor was living alone in 4,000 square feet. Do you know what that house was costing him every year? Property taxes, $6,800. Heating oil, $3,000. Maintenance and repairs, thousands more. That's well over $10,000 a year just to keep the house standing. And Victor was living on only $31,000 a year from Social Security and a small pension. Within just a few years, he had burned through $60,000 of his savings simply maintaining the house. His daughter, Sophia, kept telling him to sell it. He kept saying, someday. Then one winter, Victor fell down the basement stairs and broke his hip. The house had to be sold quickly, and because it was rushed, it sold for $60,000 less than it was worth. All that money gone. All that time wasted. Buy yourself a condo, townhouse, or something manageable where someone else fixes the roof and clears the snow. Do it before 70, before moving becomes overwhelming. That's what smart, wealthy people do. They don't stay in houses that quietly drain their bank accounts. Number 2. Buy yourself the hard conversation with your adult children, and buy it before they start asking for money. Let me tell you about Margaret Collins. Margaret retired with $290,000. She made one costly mistake. She told her 3 adult children exactly how much money she had. Huge mistake. Her son Daniel needed money for a truck down payment. Her daughter Olivia needed help paying for a wedding. Then more money came for business ideas, emergencies, and temporary help. One request turned into another. Within just a few years, Margaret had given away nearly $100,000, almost 1/3 of everything she had spent her life saving. And the reason it kept happening was simple. She never bought the hard conversation. She never said, "I love you, but my retirement money is not your emergency fund." Here's what you do instead. Sit your adult children down and say, "I love you. I worked my entire life for this retirement. My finances are private. If I decide to help, I will offer. I do not want to be asked."
That single conversation can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. They are adults. You already raised them. That job is done. Now your responsibility is to protect yourself so you never become their burden later. 3. Buy yourself 1 full year of living expenses in cash, not in the stock market, not locked inside retirement accounts. I mean cash you can access tomorrow. Let me tell you about Nicholas Petros. Nicholas retired with most of his money tied up in investments. He kept only a few $1,000s in his checking account. Then in winter, his furnace died. The replacement cost $5,800 immediately. He didn't have the cash, so he had to sell investments while the market was down. He kept doing this every time something unexpected happened. By the time the market crashed, those forced bad timing sales had cost him almost $40,000. That's why cash matters. 1 year of living expenses gives you choices. When something breaks, you fix it. You don't panic. You don't sell investments at the worst possible moment. If you live on $30,000 a year, keep $30,000 in cash. That is your emergency fund. That is your sleep well at night money. 4. Buy the insurance you actually need and cancel the insurance you don't. Let me tell you about Isabella Ramirez. She had been paying $260 a month for a whole life insurance policy for over 2 decades. By the time she reached her late 60s, she had paid over $70,000 into it, and the payout? Only $80,000. That makes no sense. Once your children are grown and your house is paid off, life insurance often stops being necessary. Who are you replacing income for if you're already retired? What you may actually need instead is long-term care insurance, especially if purchased before 65. Because long-term care can cost $90,000 a year or more, and basic Medicare often doesn't cover it. Also cancel unnecessary life insurance, extended warranties, and overpriced protection plans. Many people waste $300 to $500 every month on things they no longer need. Over 20 years, that can become $100,000 or more. 5. Buy yourself a will, power of attorney, and healthcare directive. And get them from a real lawyer. Yes, it may cost $1,500 to $3,000. It is worth every penny. My friend Michael Bennett died without a will. He had savings, a paid-off condo, and no legal documents. His siblings fought over the estate for 3 years. The lawyers took nearly $100,000 in fees. And while he was dying, the family couldn't even agree on medical decisions because there was no healthcare directive. The hospital bills alone became enormous. All of that pain, conflict, and money loss could have been prevented with 3 simple documents: a will, durable power of attorney, and healthcare directive. These documents protect your family from legal fees, emotional conflict, and chaos. Update them every 5 years. 6. Buy yourself a good accountant and a fee-only financial advisor before retirement. Let me tell you about Robert Marino. Robert retired in 2005 with $406,000. He decided to do everything himself. He handled his own taxes using tax software. He also managed his retirement account on his own. Then one year, he withdrew $45,000 from his retirement account to pay for his daughter's wedding. That single withdrawal pushed him into a higher tax bracket and cost him $19,000 in taxes and penalties. Then came the market crash. Robert panicked and sold everything. He locked in every loss. By the time he finally got back into the market years later, he had missed the entire recovery. That panic cost him about $170,000. Now compare that to professional help. A good accountant may cost $800 to $1,500 per year. They often save you more in taxes than you pay them. A fee-only financial advisor might cost $1,500 to $3,000 per year. What they really save you from are the emotional mistakes that cost tens or hundreds of thousands. Robert spent nothing on professional advice and lost nearly $200,000. That's what buying expert help protects you from. But here's the critical part. Ask them directly. Are you fee-only, and do you have a fiduciary duty to me? If they cannot clearly answer yes to both questions, walk away. Number 7. Buy yourself one last great trip or meaningful experience. Do it before your body says no. I mean before 65, while you can still walk comfortably, move freely, and actually enjoy it. Let me tell you about Thomas and Elena Moretti. Thomas worked for the Transit Authority for 38 years. For decades, they dreamed of visiting Italy to see where Thomas's grandparents came from. Thomas retired at 65. Elena retired the following year. They kept saying they would go soon. Then life happened. A sick brother, a funeral, knee problems, arthritis. Year after year, the trip was delayed. Eventually, Thomas needed knee replacement surgery. Later, Elena's arthritis became so severe she could barely walk more than 20 minutes. They never took the trip. Thomas died years later without ever seeing Italy. They had saved $78,000 for that dream. Instead, the money paid for medical bills and his funeral. Listen carefully. Your body has an expiration date on experiences. Whatever you've been saying you'll do someday, book it now. The memory from one meaningful trip will be worth far more than another $10,000 sitting in savings when you're 85 and no longer able to travel. 8. Buy yourself out of every subscription you don't truly use. Let me tell you about Dorothy Williams. Dorothy came to me worried about money. She was 71 years old, living on $28,000 a year. We reviewed her bank statements. She was paying for a gym membership she hadn't used in 2 years, premium cable channels she never watched, a meal delivery subscription she forgot to cancel, a storage unit she hadn't visited in years. It all added up to hundreds of dollars every month, nearly $5,000 a year disappearing on things she didn't use. On a $28,000 income, that was a huge percentage of her money. We canceled everything she wasn't using every week. That instantly put thousands back into her pocket every year. Here's what you do. Take your last 3 months of bank statements. Highlight every recurring charge. Then ask yourself, did I use this in the last 30 days? If the answer is no, cancel it today. Most people are wasting $200 to $500 every month on forgotten subscriptions. Over a 20-year retirement, that can quietly steal $50,000 to $120,000. Now, let me tell you about my biggest financial mistake. I had a son named Marco Jr. Over 10 years, I gave him $82,000. It started small, money for a car, then rent, then a business idea, then another emergency. Every time he promised to pay me back, he never paid back a single dollar. That money cost me something worse than cash. It nearly cost me my relationship with my son. I began resenting him. He began resenting me when I finally started saying no. The money destroyed what it was supposed to protect.
I should have said no the first time. That one word would have saved me $82,000 and 5 years of pain. 9. Buy yourself complete financial privacy from everyone except your spouse. Never tell people exactly what you have. Let me tell you why. I had a cousin named Anthony Bellini who won $85,000 in the lottery. He made one mistake. He told everyone. Within weeks, friends, relatives, and even distant acquaintances started asking for money. Within 2 years, he had given away most of it. Here's what you do instead. Tell nobody, not your children, not your siblings, not your friends. If someone asks, simply say, "I'm comfortable, thank you for asking." Financial privacy protects your relationships. People cannot resent what they do not know, and they cannot ask for what they don't realize you have. Number 10. Buy yourself a plan for your time before retirement. Because retirement without purpose can destroy a person faster than illness. Let me tell you about Joseph Parker. Joseph worked for the post office for 33 years. He retired with no hobbies, no interests, and no plan. Suddenly, 40 to 50 hours a week that used to belong to work became empty. He spent his days sitting in front of the television. He gained weight, his health declined, then came diabetes, then heart problems. A few years later, he was gone. His doctor told his wife something heartbreaking. He had simply given up. Before you retire, decide what your life will be filled with. Maybe it's volunteering. Maybe it's part-time work you actually enjoy. Maybe it's travel, church, family, gardening, mentoring, or helping people. I'm 108 years old. Do you know why I'm still here? Because I still have things to do. I still help old customers. I still serve my community. I still wake up with purpose. And purpose keeps people alive. So here's what I want you to do right now. Take a piece of paper. Write down these 10 things. Mark the ones you still haven't done. Then calculate what it is costing you not to do them. That number is your retirement security quietly leaking away. These 10 things may cost $20,000 to $30,000 total to set up, but over 20 or 30 years of retirement, they can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. More importantly, they save you from the worry, resentment, and regret that steal peace in the final years of life. You can keep your pride, or you can keep your peace. You can keep saying yes to everyone, or you can keep your retirement secure. You cannot do both. You have to choose. I've seen people retire rich and die broke. And I've seen people retire with little and die in comfort. The difference was never the amount. The difference was always discipline. Buy these 10 things before 60.
Your future self will thank you. Now get to work. Take that paper, make the calculations, have the conversations, buy what you need, cancel what you don't. Your retirement depends on it.